Hey guys, Katie Nolan here. The Garbage Time Podcast is coming your way in just a second. Today our guest is Bernstein. Very exciting. But first, we're brought to you today by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is always the first place I go to look for tickets to a game or concert. How many times do I have to tell you that before you start listening to me? I have the SeatGeek app on my phone. I just used it the other day to look for some tickets because I just want to go to a concert.
Yeah.
I just want to go to a concert.
Who are you going to see?
I don't know. Anybody.
Go.
I want to listen to some music. I want the sweet sounds to flow through me. And I want to let myself go in the darkness, surrounded by a bunch of other people. Well, that took a turn. But I just want to, dance, you know? Sometimes I just want to dance. So I go to SeatGeek. Because it's designed to make life easier for sports and music fans and people who just want to let themselves go in the darkness. They do all the price comparisons for you by searching multiple ticket sites and ensuring that you get the best possible deal. They do all the work, and you get to save time and money. And they want to help you get the most bang for your buck. This is the thing I talk about every time. Every ticket on SeatGeek is given a grade based on value, so you know what seat you're getting a great deal on and what seat someone's trying to fleece you. Don't be fleeced. Use SeatGeek. That should be their...
It's a good motto.
Yeah, it's a really good... Anyway, my listeners get a $20 rebate off their first SeatGeek purchase. So to get that, download the SeatGeek app, go to the settings tab and click add a promo code, enter promo code KATIE, and SeatGeek will send you $20 after you've made your first ticket purchase. So download the SeatGeek app and enter promo code Katie today. Today's pod is also brought to you by Identity Guard. Have you ever lost or thought you lost your phone? It's the worst. If you're like me, your life is on your phone. Well, guess what? Identity thieves know that too. And when your lost phone winds up in the hands of an identity thief, it can be the beginning of a disaster, financially, emotionally, even physically, or constructionally, that takes years to undo. Protect yourself, guys, with Identity Guard. With Identity Guard, you get protection from a company that's been in this business for over 20 years, one that's helped protect more than 47 million people. God bless you. Identity Guard continuously monitors millions of transactions and articles and sends you the news, tools, and guidance you need to minimize your risk. Plus, if you were to become a victim of identity theft, their recovery specialists will be there to help you through the recovery process. Identity Guard even offers identity theft insurance with coverage of up to $1 million. So get the identity theft protection service that's right for you. Visit Identity Guard at identityguard.com/podcast. That's identityguard.com/podcast. Let's get weird.
Yeah.
So, hello, welcome to the Garbage Time Podcast. I'm your host, Katie Nolan. I'm joined today by producer Matt.
Hey.
Hi.
What's up?
Nothing.
Cool.
So here we are, November, what's the date? 18th? 17th. Someone's got a birthday coming up. Here we are, November 17th.
Just someone, we assume.
Yeah, just someone. I'm sure someone listening. November 17th, and this studio is still under construction.
Still doing it.
So we're sorry, but they have stopping for us. So
Yeah.
we're just plowing through,
We're doing
folks.
it.
It's as annoying for us as it is for you, if not more. What should we talk about in our host chat?
Well, big news. Max Scherzer, Cy Young winner. Another piece of evidence that if you come on Garbage Time, good things happen for you.
Yeah. Where the fuck were you at, Rick Porcello?
That's right. What's up, Porcello?
Yeah, let's do...
Porcello?
I guess he doesn't need a... Porcello? It's Porcello,
Every
right?
time I see his name, I think it's Porcello.
It should be.
But
Every time I see
sounds
his
like
name,
a mushroom.
I think of porchetta.
Not an ace. Yeah,
Yeah.
porchetta.
So
hungry.
yeah, Garbage Time Bump. Kate Upton, not happy
Yeah, sending some tweets.
about Justin Verlander.
Wonder if she knew that was going to get retweeted a lot.
I know.
Yes.
The best part was watching people have to talk about it on sports TV, but have to blur out the word fuck. Or some of them put stars. And I'm like, that's not what she said.
Yeah, she didn't do that.
She didn't do that. So don't show the tweet or show the tweet, but don't do that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Doesn't need to be the story.
Also, I don't. That's just one woman's opinion. I bet you aren't the only person who gets to fuck Justin Verlander. I don't know. He's an athlete.
Yeah.
It's just like when I thought I was the only person allowed to fuck. No, we're all allowed to fuck him. We just have to ask. You have to get permission. Like, he has to consent. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like there's a law that when you're dating someone, you're the only person allowed to fuck him.
Right. Well, this is all a little hazy to me.
Yeah, we can get into it. We can get into it more. I went to the Patriots game last weekend.
Nice, sort of.
Sort of nice, except that they fucking lost.
They did.
To the Seahawks. But I knew that was going to happen because in the pregame festivities, I got to meet like a whole bunch of people. and it was like probably the coolest day of my life. And so I was like, you know what, we're gonna lose this game now because nothing can continue to be right.
Who'd you meet?
Just, you know, a couple peeps, some peeps in that told me about the haps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
It's all very discreet.
yeah, I got to stand in the helmet when the Patriots come running out.
Like bigger than a normal helmet?
Yeah, no, it is a normal sized helmet, and so you have to
got
take the one pill that makes you smaller. And
Oh,
then you take them.
God.
No, they have that big inflatable
Burying
helmet.
the lead.
Big inflatable helmet, and you stand inside, and when they play like the music and they're about to run out on the field and Tom Brady leads everybody out, he was like right there. I didn't meet him, but he was right there.
That's insane. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool.
It was pretty cool. I met Bill Belichick, which was really cool, but it maybe not the week I wanted to meet him. But, you know, still cool guy, real nice, very kind. Really
Awesome.
cool experience.
Big fan of the show, right?
Yeah, he had no idea who I was. He's like, who's this one? Why is she being so quiet? I said Seattle. That was it. What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
I'm going to my girlfriend's family in Atlanta.
Ooh, hot
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Never been to Atlanta.
And it's her birthday today.
It is her birthday.
Happy birthday to Ivy.
Yes, shout out.
Shout out to Ivy. So you're going to her
love
place.
Yep.
I don't have to do that anymore.
Congrats.
Actually, now
Is that what
maybe
you say?
this year I'd want to. But yeah, so I'm going home. Yay.
Awesome.
So excited about it. I think I might go to a beach first.
Sounds very nice.
If you guys have any beaches that are dope that you want to recommend that aren't going to cost me $1 billion to fly to during Thanksgiving week, just let me know on Twitter because I need to go to a beach.
If you know any dope beaches.
Any dope beaches like Florida. Where do you live? Clearwater Beach. Is that dope?
It is dope.
I'll go to there. Okay, should we fade that pick?
Let's fade.
Woo,
Picks.
Fade and picks.
2-1 last week.
11, 20, and 2 overall?
Yeah.
Okay.
11, 20, and 2 overall. System works.
Yep.
You missed your lock of the week by a half a point
Yeah,
last
that
week.
wasn't
Denver.
infuriating.
God, what was that end of the game?
Yeah, it was weird.
Our first game this week, though,
Yeah.
the Ravens at the league-leading 8-1 Cowboys. Dallas favored by 7.
I didn't know the Cowboys were 8-1. It's almost like their fans just don't say that constantly
Yeah.
all the time. Someone should be talking about
I just wish
Dallas
they'd
being
speak
8-1.
up
I wish
once
they
in
would
a
be more
while,
vocal. They're
you know?
just so quiet.
Take some
about
pride
it.
in their team.
Yeah. The
It's about
director
time.
of our show in my ear yesterday just kept saying 8-1, 8-1, 8-1. It's
Yeah.
like they're so subtle.
Yeah, he was mansplaining.
Oh
Joke just
my
for us.
God, that joke is for us. Our director's name is Mance.
Yeah, that's good.
He's mansplaining. Sorry.
Oh, that was pointless.
That was great. I loved it.
All right. Well, we got that done. So, Katie, the Cowboys, not good as favorites. They're 0-6 against the spread in their last 6 as a
Oh,
big
wow.
favorite. Tony Romo endorsed Dak Prescott in a press conference on Tuesday.
Words are hard.
Yeah, they are hard.
Yeah.
Where were your feelings there?
Well, I thought it was really great.
Yeah.
And that's coming from a person who, it's something that I'm not, if there's an event in sports that I am not attached to as a fan, like if it's not a Patriots thing or a Red Sox thing, if there's just an event that everyone's watching, I go into it as like, how am I going to make fun of this? It's
Right.
just my job.
1,000,000%.
I'm also an asshole, but it's just my job.
No.
And so I went into it with the, like, completely focused on how are we going to make fun of this in the show this week. And genuinely, he was so just, like, honest, and he wasn't, there were a lot of cliches, but he wasn't just regurgitating cliches. And I feel like he was really vulnerable. That I was like, okay, we can't make fun of this.
Yeah.
We ended up doing it a little bit anyway, but
Yeah, I mean,
but like
Tony Romo's
he
sad.
just said so many
Still
things
funny.
that were like, did anybody proofread this before you read it? Like the man across from you and the man inside of you. Like I don't know
Give
that
notes?
Then he said, Dak knows I've got his back. And it was like, and Cowboys fans hope he doesn't have yours. Like, he just set himself up so perfectly for
good.
jokes. But no, it was nice. I will say he walked out and said, I've written a statement, so I'm not going to answer any questions. I know exactly what I want to say, and I want to say what's on this paper. And then kept talking before he got to so he was like giving a pre-speech about the speech he wanted to give.
yeah.
A little weird, but I think, those are the only things I could make fun of it for.
Yeah. That's a pretty good
It's
list.
sad. It's sad to hear someone be
was.
like, I want to play, and
Yeah.
I can't play, and I know I'm not the one who's going to play, but damn it, I really want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was the only way that controversy could ever end.
Yeah.
Is if Romo was like, all right, like, you know, if it was a good leadership moment. Do you think he'll play next year somewhere else?
Probably. If he, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know
weird.
where. We were having this conversation the other day about where he would go.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, literally most teams would take him.
Yeah. Denver? Chicago?
Yeah, Denver. Chicago is interesting because the whole Cutler thing.
Yeah.
But I was thinking like San Francisco or
LA?
Oh. Imagine Tony Romo, the quarterback of the LA Rams. That would probs be insufferable.
Yes.
I don't think I could handle that.
Yeah, well, he'll probably be benched behind amazing Jared Goff, right?
Because they've got Goff, so why don't you start backing Goff, okay?
Yeah, okay. Well, should we
Get
fuck rate Goff and make some picks?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Who do you like?
I don't know. I really don't like the Ravens.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Dallas -7. Don't care.
The Ravens started 3-0, then went 0-4, and now have won 2 more in a row.
Oh, so they have to get
what
one.
Is that?
So maybe that means they're about to win another.
I think that they'll at least keep it close. I like the Ravens.
You do?
No. I'm picking them, though.
All right, what's our next game?
Next game, Green Bay at Washington. Washington favored by 2.5.
What? What is going on with Green Bay?
I don't know where people stand with them, but as a Washington fan, I know this stat all too well. 3-13 in home primetime games since 2007.
Holy shit.
I feel like I have a vivid memory of all of those brutal losses. But the Packers have 1 road win this year, Jacksonville.
Well, they're a tough
Not
team
good.
to beat at home.
Yeah, really hard. Yeah. You've got to stay out of the Bortle zone on the road.
As long as the home game isn't in London, I think you've got a pretty good chance.
Yeah.
Didn't the Redskins let us down statistically this year with something too? Wasn't it supposed
What?
to be like
That never happens.
No, but wasn't like the winner of the election was based on...
Oh my God, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, what was that stat?
It's if the Skins win their last home game before the election, the incumbent party stays president.
Yeah. Well, fuck you, Redskins.
Yeah. Wow.
This is all your fault.
This is their fault. Now I'm really mad.
So okay.
So thoughts on Uwe?
I hate it.
You do?
Yeah.
I think I might be in on it.
Why?
Because it's just kind of goofy and weird, and you've met Kirk Cousins.
Very,
I feel like
very
he's
nice guy.
kind of a weird, quirky dude.
He's weird and quirky. Very nice. He didn't look comfortable saying it, and that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Ooh, it was just like, I hate that.
Once you try it on, though,
it was
it's
immediate
like
hatred.
nice.
No.
Kind of rolls right off the tongue,
I think, no, it doesn't. You don't even need to use your tongue to say it. You could have no teeth or tongue, and you could still say that.
That's good.
I think he's just desperately looking to get away from you like that.
Yeah, well, this will do it. I think this will follow him around for a
I'll
little
be
while.
back in on it if he, after, like, next week does another weird, like, phrase, and then it's like he's workshopping.
Yeah.
I want him to publicly
I like that.
workshop
it's a
his
safe place.
phrases.
It's the world is
like,
his
"Suck
improv
it!"
theater.
Yeah, just every week try something new. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah.
Like every week. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't understand what's going on with Green Bay, and it makes me sad. I have decided this week I'm going to stop thinking they're going to turn it around.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop putting my money at stake, allegedly, for Green Bay. I'm going to stop. I can't. I mean, I still don't know about this line, but, like, I have been picking Green Bay for a long time, for the last few weeks, being like, they're not really this bad. Are they really this bad?
They might be.
Fuck.
They've got Kristen Michael now.
Oh, that's right.
So that fixes stuff.
New Adventures of Old Kristen.
The show that gets canceled every week.
Yeah.
You want to make a pick?
No.
I highly encourage everyone listening to this podcast to take the Packers. The Skins have a nice little habit of crapping the bed at every big test on national television, and this has all of those ingredients.
Green Bay only has 3 rushing touchdowns this year, and they've all been by Aaron Rodgers. What?
It's not good. Although I will say the Redskins' running back is R. Kelly, so we have that going for us. Robert Kelly. Yep.
What do you mean by have that going for you?
So in the preseason, I noticed that the Redskins had a running back named R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
and I tweeted he can really bounce it outside.
Stop.
And someone, a fan of the show, tweeted at me that I needed to like delete my account forever, obviously. And I was like, no, Katie would like that joke, and you favorited it, and so did Robert Kelly.
Really?
Yeah. And then I sent it back to the guy, and I was like, see, I'm not an idiot, even though I'm fully an idiot.
That was in that situation when I favored it. That's my way of going. I hate this, but I'll take as small of a stand as I can, so you can use that against your friend.
It's like, yeah, I'll be a bud to you. And
like I'll
have
just
your back.
say star and like, sure I endorse it, but I don't endorse it. You know, like Belichick
Twitter
with
guy.
Trump. So anyway, fine. I'll just pick the Packers.
That's
Fuck it.
smart.
Who cares?
I care a lot about that game,
existential.
actually.
I don't.
Game on Monday night, interesting one. The Texans not at the Raiders. Texans-Raiders in Mexico City, which is the
Cool.
first time the game's been there for 10 years.
So the wall isn't up yet?
Not yet,
Okay.
although hopefully in enough time to leave Brock Osweiler there.
I was going to say, is it possible they go and then by the time they try to come back, there's a wall? Like, how is this?
It's
Where are we at
possible.
on that wall? Somebody get an update. Let me know.
The Raiders
Last
are
I heard, it was downgraded to questionable. It was downgraded to fence.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'll have to
yeah, we'll have to
look
check the
into
spread
it.
on that one.
Yeah.
The Raiders are favored by 5.5. The best stat of all time, Lamar Miller is averaging more yards per rush attempt than Osweiler averages per pass attempt over the past 3 weeks. That's amazing.
You know, it's much
Pass
easier
attempt.
to hold the ball and move it downfield with a bunch of dudes than it is to put it in the air.
Yeah, totally. He threw for 99 yards last week, and they won.
I don't understand.
What is happening?
This feels like a really personal stat, that Lamar Miller Osweiler stat, because I have a unbased hatred for Lamar Miller because I drafted him one year, and it was the year that he just didn't do shit. It was like 2 or 3 years ago, and then so I've like ever since then been. It was an auction draft, and I spent way too much on him because he was supposed to have a really good year, and he didn't. And so I've been like, oh, he's done for. And then now this year he's like, oh, good, great season. And then Osweiler, you know how I feel about Brock.
Yeah. Ever since he's kind of gave you some shade at wherever you met him,
The Super Bowl.
his career's kind of gone downhill.
Yeah.
Garbage time bump. Can't fuck with garbage time.
What a complete coincidence, and not the work of the Brock Osweiler voodoo doll I have in my apartment.
How tall is it?
Real small.
It's not life size.
No, that would
6
be
foot
weird. My
10,
apartment
whatever he
couldn't
is.
fit a life-size Brock Osweiler. Thank God. Anyway, Mexico City, here we come.
Yeah.
For the first time in 10 years, I don't think I knew that we ever played a game there.
Yeah. I don't remember it.
Yeah, me
although
neither.
we did. It's the first ever Monday night game there.
Cool.
Pretty cool.
Sure.
Raiders 5-0 on the road. Texans 1-3 on the road. I feel like this is kind of both a road game for them. Raiders also coming off a bye. Little mind game the Texans are putting on themselves. Their own team told them not to leave the hotel while they're there, which is just like insane. And it's to not order room service.
Not order room service? Why?
Yeah. For safety, like they're concerned. The international
I'm sorry.
travel to Mexico. I don't
If
know.
anybody is anti-room service, I'm anti-them.
Yeah. I don't know if Vince Wilfork's going to let that fly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, actually, I also don't know that Vince Wilfork can get what he needs brought up to a room. They'd have to use like one of those cranes outside and lift
Yeah.
it through his window.
How many
Yeah. How many
enchiladas can we get up?
Damn, that's a weird one to stay in. You're right next to home.
Yeah.
You live right there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's dumb. The world is dumb. I hate everything. Should we make a pick?
I think so.
Okay. I'm going to pick the Raiders because I love them.
Yeah, me too. I love them there.
And because fuck the Texans, room service is everything.
Yeah, agreed. Lock of the week?
Lock of the week. Titans +3 at the Colts.
Ooh.
Yep.
Coming off a big W.
And also just because, fuck it.
It's. I was like, is there
Nope.
more? Nope.
All right, guys, today's guest on the podcast is Bonnie Bernstein, iconic sports broadcaster and very sweet woman. I've met her a couple times. We've been trying to get her in here for a while, so we're very excited. She's worked the Super Bowl. She's done a lot of different types of sports and also different types of jobs in sports, which I think goes underestimated because the skills you need to be a host in studio, the skills you need to be like a journalist, and the skills you need to be a sideline reporter, all very different. And she's sort of done them all. So we talked a lot about that and like what was her favorite and what she didn't like. She's at Campus Insiders now, so we talked a lot about college sports because, as you guys probably know, I'm not a huge college sports fan, but I wanted her to convince me. We talked about a lot of things. It's really awesome. She's really awesome, so take a listen. Bonnie Bernstein.
Katie Nolan.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for being here.
It's been so long since we had the chance to bond.
I know.
It's been a couple months.
A couple months.
What was that panel? So we did this panel at Diageo.
Yes.
Which I think was such a cool idea because Diageo is like one of the largest liquor distribution companies in the world. They wanted to sort of shake things up with their marketing strategy and get people thinking outside the box. So they launched this whole Thursday happy hour series, and they wanted to bring in people who are disruptive in their industries. And so when my buddy Jim Sias called, the first person I said, hashtag Katie Nolan.
Hashtag.
I don't know if I
legally changed my
hashtagged
first
you.
name to hashtag. Middle name now Katie, last name Nolan.
Well, now that I know that your
Yeah.
Snapchat account is Nady Colon, not to be confused with COLON.
No, God, no.
Because you're either dyslexic or your name was taken.
The name was taken.
Okay, just
Like they
checking.
were all taken.
Yes.
But yeah, so I heard that there was a happy hour.
There was a
And
happy
so I
hour.
went, yes.
Yes.
And then I was like, oh, a panel as well.
Oh, you want me
okay.
to talk, do something other than drinking.
Yes.
Which we did. We
So I
imbibed a bit.
obliged just for the booze.
Yes.
But no, that was really interesting and fun. It was you, me, Sarah Spain.
Tracy Wolfson.
Tracy Wolfson. The thing that is so fascinating to me about you is how many different things you've done in sports. Like, I have only done studio shows. Like, this is where I live and breathe. Like, this is the only place I can really do what I do. But you've sideline reported. You've hosted studio shows. You've done radio. You've done college sports. You've done pro sports. Which of those has been your favorite?
I know this is going to sound like a total non-answer, but it's true.
I love them all.
No, I don't love them all. I will tell you that while sideline reporting was the most highly visible platform, and remember that most of that time was pre-Twitter, it was without question the least rewarding. Because the fact of the matter is, and it's one of the reasons why, at some point I realized that I really wanted to develop other skill sets, is like I study my ass off. I do crazy amounts of research. I have a whole pad full of statistics. I call all these players and coaches and all that sort of stuff. And at the end of the day, you serve at the behest of your producer. And most producers, unless they're a little younger and they've been surrounded, throughout their career or exposed to sideline reporters, all we are is another ancillary voice in their ear bugging them to get on air. And it's not to say that I don't understand. I totally understand. Like, if you ever sit in a truck and listen to it is truly organized chaos. The number of things that a producer has to do. He has to communicate with the director. He has to communicate with the replay guy, the graphics guy, all of the announcers in the booth down on he's making sure that he's getting all of the promotions in. And so there are myriad things he's got to do. And then all of a sudden he's like, hey, and I want to chime in from the sidelines. And, it's something I really had to learn not to take personally. But when you're asking what's the most rewarding, I would probably say from an on-air standpoint, studio hosting, because you to a large degree, you're the captain of the ship. And not necessarily captain like you're not omnipotent by any stretch, but you're the traffic cop. Well, because it's garbage time with Katie Nolan.
Because we can't fit any other people in the studio, so it's really just me.
I know. I was telling you when I walked in, this place is so much more spacious and like comfy chairs and like there's wall decorations.
There's walls.
And yes, there are walls. But being a studio host is cool because you're playing that traffic cop. And ultimately, if you're doing your job right, you're teeing all of your teammates up to excel. And it truly is part of a very collaborative process where I felt that sideline reporting is kind of isolating. You're like a cornerback on an island. Now, that was my experience, but then I look at somebody like Holly Rowe on ESPN, and she truly is a third voice, or if you're, a dude who's an analyst and your mic is open all the time. That's a completely different dynamic, and I think that's much more of a healthier team environment. But it hands down, and I've always been pretty unabashed about saying it. It is the most underutilized, underappreciated job in sports.
Yeah,
I think.
it's also very difficult to
do it well.
Yeah, like you were saying, you do a ton of research. You have to know things.
You just have to be able to have instant recall.
Right, and that's insane. I think a lot of people think, oh, they don't really do anything, but they do. It's a hard job. And also, like you were saying, for not a lot of praise or
for essentially
a couple seconds of being on TV,
a minute cumulatively on air. But you look at somebody like Holly, and why I always point to Holly and people like Michelle Tafoya and Pam Oliver, who have really been the gold standards for many years now, is that it's one thing to say, sprained ankle, the trainer's tweaking it on the sideline, they've got ice, questionable. To me, the best sideline reporters are the ones who add depth. Tell me, all right, yeah, sure, maybe this running back sprained his ankle, but has he been the leading scorer? Did he rush for 1,000 yards? Was he a Heisman finalist? Like, just give me some depth and tell me how, if this guy doesn't come back, how ultimately is that going to impact the team? And what that does is, aside from, adding depth to the report, it also tees the guys back up in the booth to create this seamless transition for conversation where the sideline reporter does really seem and feel like a part of the broadcast.
And then it isn't just like pandering to tell us what you saw, and it's more like
let's
you're
throw it
valuing
down to the ancillary appendage on the field.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was Tafoya once it was during like a pregame sideline report. I think she was in Seattle, and she had a helmet and the microphone to try to show how hard it was to hear the play call that they were, or whatever they were getting from the field because of how loud it was there.
Yep.
One of the most, I was like, wow, I never would have thought of that way. It was such like an interesting report. Yeah. Like added something.
But it's really, phenomenal. For as much research as you do, it's those little nuggets, especially if you're able to provide a visual, like those are the sorts of reports that I think really differentiate you.
Yeah. And so now are you mainly focused college sports?
I would say mostly college football, but NFL is still sort of in my blood. Although the weird thing is, and you probably, for somebody like you who you're talking about all sports, you constantly need to be reading about all sports. Mm-hmm. But for me, because so much of my focus is on college football right now, like I get into Twitter debates every single weekend on Saturdays, and then when the rankings come out on Tuesdays, because people just can't wrap their heads around how different the ranking process is for the College Football Playoff Committee than what we're used to. They're like, but 2 losses, but 3 losses, but they beat, they just don't understand that like every single week the committee literally wipes the whiteboard clean. It doesn't matter what the rankings looked like last week because one game on the schedule that week can completely change a team's profile. So it's like banging your cyber head in cyberspace with cyber people, mostly eggs with no names on their profiles.
Gee, I know nothing about what that's like.
Oh, I just want you to know, by the way.
Oh, no.
So I promoted our little visit today, and everybody, I asked for feedback on you, and everybody was, okay, wait for it. Everybody was nice.
What?
I know.
There was one guy that was like, you guys should take your shirts off.
Oh, yeah.
Which I guess is nice. If you're putting that on the scale between nice and mean, I guess it is like just to the right of mean. But...
That dude's kind of an asshat. Don't worry about him.
But are you like me that you get used to seeing the same names and you know who they are?
It's just, and then you start to make up stories in your head like, boxers or briefs? How many teeth? Over under.
Yep. I do the exact same thing. I'm like, that's just John. Don't
Coke or Pepsi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, "Oh, should we be worried about this guy?" I'm like, "No. He just went through a divorce a couple years ago." So
and he doesn't even realize because he hasn't tried to escape the basement that the mom actually put the lock on the outside so he can't get out. So. But people had really nice things to say.
That's good.
Will Adams said, "It's a great show and funny." Ding! God, I really wish I had that visual right now. Somebody wanted to know, ask what your fondest sports memory was growing up. This has to be like a Red Sox thing, right?
Yeah, people ask me that question a lot.
Or if you like cat videos.
I like cat videos, I guess. I prefer dog videos.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm such a dog person.
Me too. Do you have a dog?
No, but every time I'm that girl walking on the streets of New York who every time I see, and here I try to have this authoritative voice, which never really works on the air, but all of a sudden I turn into this sniveling puddle of mud every time I see a dog. And I'm like, oh, I've learned to ask if they're friendly before I go down and pet, because I almost had my head bit off one time by a pit bull. So that was a good learning experience. But I just I love dogs. But then I think, okay, can you keep a plant alive? The answer is no.
Right.
So for the sake of the dog, you probably don't want to do
That's
that.
the exact same thing with me. But also I do this thing where if I'm walking and I see a dog, I say hi to the dog and completely ignore the humans. So like in my apartment, I'll get in the elevator, I'm like, hi Willow. There's a dog named Willow that lives in my apartment. No idea what her parents' names are.
But you should, because then you'll realize that most dogs do look like their parents.
They probably do. I haven't looked at them once. I just maintain eye contact with Willow, and then I tell her to have a good day when she gets off the elevator. And I think that her humans are like, what the fuck is that girl's problem? All right, guys, more with Bonnie in a minute. But first, the pod is brought to you by ZipRecruiter. Are you hiring? Do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates? Posting your job in one place isn't enough to find quality candidates, you dummy. I'm editorializing. They don't think you're dumb. With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post your job to 100-plus job sites, including social media networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. Find candidates in any city or industry nationwide. Just post once and watch your qualified candidates roll into ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. No juggling emails or calls to your office. Quickly screen candidates, rate them, and hire the right person fast. If you want to find the perfect hire, you need to post your job on all the top sites, and now you can with one click. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by over 1 million businesses. And right now, my listeners can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/Katie. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Katie. One more time, to try it for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/Katie. Someone just ran into somebody at the elevator and was very excited. It threw me off my game. Because someone went, oh my God! Oh my God, you guys, the pod is also brought to you by the Books.
The Books.
I love the Books. You guys looking for something nice to celebrate a landmark moment or show appreciation for an everyday gesture? You should send a Book. I mean it. They're so great. I used them before this sponsorship happened, and they're great. But I'll just tell you what I'm supposed to tell you. A bouquet is a bouquet. It's simplified. I'll explain that further. The Books Company starts with beautiful flowers that are chemical-free and sourced from eco-friendly, sustainable farms. Their flowers can be enjoyed longer than other companies. They aren't cut until you order them, and then they arrive just days after. Compare that to nearly 3 weeks like you're going to get somewhere else. Plus, prices start at a mere $40, and there's no hidden fees. There's no unnecessary upsells. The price you see is the price you pay. I will also add they're very honest in their photos of what you're getting for what price you're paying. Like most sites, you can pay a little more for more flowers. Lots of sites lie to you about that. 100 flowers. And so, but the Books don't. They're great. They make it as easy as possible for you. If you register with your email, they'll give you free delivery on weekdays just for giving them your email. They make the perfect gift for any holiday or occasion, or just because you just used Boots.
I used it today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have the flowers come yet?
Yes.
They have.
They got good reviews.
They are
endorsed.
So great. I use them to get my mom flowers. Right now, Garbage Time listeners get $15 off, and like I said, they start at $40, so that's like almost half off. That math took me way too long. Just go to books.com/garbage. Now, it's not books, okay? It's BOUQS.com/garbage. Do it and send me some goddamn flowers. Okay, back to Bonnie.
So I said this on Twitter. I think I'm pretty sensitive and pretty compassionate, and I really do try to figure out the context in which things are said. Like I try not to say anything on social until I've taken the time to do some reading, because like sometimes you see a headline, and in this clickbait world, you don't even know if that's really what the story's about. With Colin Kaepernick kneeling and taking a stand for social change, one of the byproducts of that action was the meaning of the American flag to people. I never, until I started reading about it, I didn't look at Colin Kaepernick kneeling during the national anthem as disrespect for our military.
I
I now
still don't.
understand it. Was
Yeah,
that?
I still don't.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think, and particularly in this day of social media, that people are going to interpret things however they want. They're going to see things through their lens. And so for Colin Kaepernick, on one hand, I do understand the team's perspective that they're like, all right, you're doing that on our time. If you want to do that on your time. But ultimately, any person who's a player on a team is representative of that organization, whether they're playing or whether they're not. So I don't think it's necessarily going to change the way that reflects on the team. If your quarterback, whether he's starting or whether he's your backup, I mean, he's a name. He's a name in this league who had, a really good first couple of years. But it's just the way people interpret that singular action. It really boggles my mind. And the conclusion that I've come to between some of the social stances that athletes have taken lately and the way the election has turned out, that I think we are as much divided now as we were, I don't know, to a certain degree back in the 60s. I really felt like with an African-American president, it would really pull us together, and just sort of seeing what's happened in the last couple of years. And I really do. I praise athletes who want to take social stances because they're truly passionate about it. But I think for all of the good that the conversation is generating, we're still stuck in a place where I didn't realize we were.
I know. I completely agree with you.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, awesome.
Doesn't that feel good? So wait, I want to talk about college sports because I don't love them, and I don't want you. I don't want you to be mad at me for that.
I'm not mad.
I grew up in Boston, outside of Boston.
Totally
had
get
no
it.
connection to this
Neither
passion,
did I.
and I'm fascinated by it, and I love that. I wish I had that feeling towards a college team, but I just don't, and so it's really hard for me to get into because to sum it up quickly, I watch them. They're kids.
Yes.
I see all the money around them and none of the money going into their pockets. Football pants don't have pockets, I watch March Madness. Love March Madness, but that's because I'm selfish and I like to gamble and be right. So when I make my bracket,
When you do your
it's
brackets,
more about me.
Okay, but when you do your brackets, what do you base your brackets on?
Just gut feeling. It's thin slicing, quick decision making.
Yes.
I just look at the two names and I'm like, something tells me that Gonzaga's the right pick there.
Because it's just so fun to say.
Yeah, because there's a Z in it.
Yes, but
Yeah.
but to your credit, for somebody who's not a college fan, you actually pronounced it correctly.
Yeah.
People on the East Coast say
Gonzaga.
Gonzaga, Colorado, Nevada.
Wait, Colorado?
Well, Colorado is the way people say it from Colorado.
Ew.
Well, East Coast bias.
Colorado. Oh, that's like Louisville. I got yelled at about that.
Louisville.
You're supposed to say Louisville.
It's Louisville.
Louisville.
Or New Orleans. But that's, well, okay, so you grew, you just swallowed your glasses on that.
Louisville. And Nolans. It's guys, I was pronouncing new because I know what that word sounds like. And Orleans because there's an E and an A. No, Nolans. But if I said that in the middle of a sentence, and the game, it's the Green Bay Packers versus the New Orleans Saints, you'd be like, what the fuck was that?
You'd think that you're from the South
Right?
and not Boston.
People are so specific about how I pronounce their city. What
Okay,
if I'm like,
but
it's Boston, actually?
I'll tell you a story, and this is one of the things, Boston.
It's Boston. Everyone's been saying it wrong, and we're just really polite, so we don't correct anybody, but it's Boston.
That's mighty. So
The mighty Bostones, yes.
None of the people who were super, super nice are in the stands when I would cover the
was
Patriots
gonna
games.
say, we're not
They
nice.
weren't the people who were throwing the beer cans at my head.
Oh, really?
With security. This actually happened one time when before Gillette opened, and I was covering a game at Fox at the old stadium, and so the easiest way to get back out to the TV trucks after the game was to walk up through the stands, which is perfectly fine if the Patriots won.
Oh.
However, this one day, such was not the case, and they were angry, hangry, drunk, and disgruntled, which is not a good combination for anybody, but particularly Jets fans or anybody in New England. So I'm walking up with security people, and somebody threw a beer can. I would approximate it was 3/4 of the way full.
Well, that doesn't sound right.
Well, first of all, if you're
would've
going to
drank
throw it, at
that.
least drink it 1st, which sort of led me to believe that maybe he's not from New England.
yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah,
We had been infiltrated.
it was, yes. But
College sports.
I will, all right, so we can go off in
You're
six
like me,
different
we just go,
directions
whoop,
for that.
You grew up in Jersey.
I grew up in Jersey, and so I totally understand your conundrum because think about what I was surrounded by Rutgers, which, I mean,
They're good this year, right?
yeah, they're good at getting shut
Right?
out is what they are. But I had no connection to college sports at all. And really college football, I didn't pay much attention to in college either. It was college basketball that really caught me from going to the University of Maryland. And even though it was a really tough time because it was 1986 when Len Bias OD'd on cocaine, which Boston Celtics fans have probably never recovered from, I didn't really start getting into college football until I went to ESPN. So I was like 25 years old, and I was covering a Florida-Tennessee game. And Peyton Manning was at Tennessee, and it was down in Gainesville at the Swamp. And Katie, like, take the loudest day in Foxborough or the loudest day that you could remember at Fenway and magnify that 20 times, and that's what it's like going to a game in the Swamp. And there was so much passion, and this rivalry between Florida and Tennessee was so strong that it's different. And I always say, like, the Packers and the Chiefs, those are when I would go and cover games at Arrowhead and at Lambeau, I just like, it's a different environment. The Packers, because it's a publicly owned team, so that's different. But there are generations of fans who grew up and had their alliances passed down generation to generation to generation, and it impacts their world on a daily basis. Particularly SEC football in Texas, it impacts, like, if Alabama loses to Auburn, they don't recover to, like, they have a chance to win again. And there is, like, I know couples exist, like people who, like, the guy's the Alabama fan and the girls, I have no idea how they don't kill each other. I don't even know how they're allowed to date, but let alone get married. But it permeates every fiber of a college fan's being, particularly football, and it's just, I think, being exposed to it, it's been really special. I think I could convert you.
Do you?
Yes.
I think it's just tough once you know the bad stuff.
But there's bad stuff everywhere.
I know, but if I'm not exposed to any of the good stuff, like if I were a college football fan and I hear about Baylor, I'm like, well, that's one bad school, but I love my school. But
So
as
do
a
you not like the Patriots because of Aaron Hernandez?
Well, first of all, we got rid of him, Bonnie. as soon as we were like, he probably
As soon as we were
definitely murdered
absolutely
2
sure
to
that
3
all
people.
this stuff was going public, we bounced his ass.
Yes,
we did.
As soon as we had evidence, we then thought about it, and then later we did get rid of him. But that problem may have started for him in college.
Florida.
So
It might have started in Bristol, Connecticut. It
It
actually
might,
did start in Bristol, Connecticut, which is where
it
he's
just is
from.
like, I think I know too much about the dangers of this exact environment that you're talking about that makes it so good, which is this, it's part of your family, it's part of your everyday life, it's so ingrained in you as a person, and I see that is what's contributing to this. Athletes are above the law, like hiding these things and these scandals that are happening in schools. And also the other completely separate, but another thing that just makes me uncomfortable is just like they're not getting paid any money.
Why should they get paid?
Because the amount of money that's being made off of them. The fact that they can't profit off their likeness, but if they don't do what they're doing, then all of this billions of dollars.
All right, well, let me ask you this. So, not judging, but just understanding the tough socioeconomic circumstances that so many of these kids come from. You tell me, without a scholarship, would they be able to go to college?
You tell me, with a scholarship, a football scholarship, are they going to class?
Some of them, but not all of them.
Right.
See, it's so easy to point out the bad apples, and I really think that college football should change its system. I think it should be the same thing as baseball. You think you're good enough to go pro right now? Go take your chances. And if you don't get drafted, wherever you want to go, fine. You come back, but you got to commit to 3 years. But here's my thing. Yes, these kids make schools a lot of money, but they would never be given an opportunity to showcase their skills at a college level if they weren't given a scholarship. For some reason, and I will never ever understand this, people don't understand the value of a scholarship. University of Indiana did a study a couple of years ago, and to be honest, I can't recall if it was just a university study or if it was a national study that put a general dollar amount on a full athletic scholarship. It's more than $500,000. And it's, you get all the swag, you get the best health care, you get an education, you get free food, you get free housing, all of that sort of stuff. But I don't know what the situation is for your friends, but I can tell you, I still have friends paying off their college debt. It is a massive burden, particularly when you're coming from tough places where, you might not be able to get an academic scholarship. You might be able to get a bunch of grants, take out loans and stuff, but you're going to be paying it off forever. So my thing is, you might have mad skills, but without a platform, you're never going to put yourself in a position to make money in the pros. And I really struggle with it. But the other thing too, Katie, I've been on both sides of it. So when I went to the University of Maryland, sort of decided late, scholarships were already allocated, and my coach said, we'll give you a full ride second year, but walk on. Gymnastics is not a cheap sport to train. I've always been incredibly appreciative for what my parents sacrificed to enable me to train. So I couldn't in good conscience go back to them and be like, yeah, scholarship fell through, my bad. Can you fork over another check, please? I worked 3 jobs with the intention or with, thinking that I was going to get a scholarship the rest of the way. And then Bob Wade, the basketball coach at Maryland at the time, got nailed for all of these recruiting violations, and the university instituted a scholarship freeze. So I was stuck scratching and clawing and working 3 jobs and trying to keep my grades up and trying to be competitive in gymnastics while rehabbing. I blew out my knee freshman year. And it's just the amount of pressure that people deal with when they're not getting paid to go to college. And then conversely, I got a full scholarship senior year. I've seen the benefits of having a scholarship and how it inexplicably reduces the burden so you can focus on what you're really there to do. So I've always called bullshit on people who don't understand the value of scholarships. There's a time and place to get paid, but pay your dues and then get paid.
But don't you think that the point of college is to prepare you for life? And I worry that there just isn't an emphasis on when a student athlete is in a big program like a football program or a basketball program at a big school, that there's so much emphasis on you need to be here for practice, you need to be here for this, these are your rules, these are all the things you have to do because you're essentially doing the job of a pro football player, except at a college level. So it's their only job we expect a pro football player to do is that job. And we have college students that we have doing that job, but also getting a college education. I just worry that in a sport where you could get hurt at any second, and that whole career path that you're putting everything towards is done forever, you haven't been told how important it is to also get your education, which is what you're really supposed to be there for.
Well, and I have a huge problem with that in and of itself. And I've actually said, I had a conversation with Greg Byrne, the athletic director at Arizona, about if you got kids coming in, and there are different types of student athletes, right? The kids who are one and done in college basketball. They do whatever they need to do to stay eligible in the fall, and they don't open a book in the spring because they know they're gone and it doesn't matter. But I'm going to have a chance in a couple of weeks to moderate the College Football Hall of Fame press conference. And part of that press conference, aside from interviewing the new Hall of Fame inductees, is interviewing the 12 finalists for the William Campbell Trophy, which is essentially the academic Heisman. I am clearly, every year I do this, the stupidest person in the room. And what it says to me is, you're laughing, but I can string a sentence together, obviously, sometimes on a good day. But these kids are biomechanic, engineering, neuroscience. So I know if you want to, and they're good football players. If you want to, you can juggle that. One of the great life skills I think that comes from being a student athlete is learning the art of time management. It is a valuable skill that
I still don't have that skill.
And it's amazing how many people don't. But if you're truly serious about your academics and your athletics and making the most of your college experience, you find a way to do it. But you have to want to do it. And that's my thing. Like I said to Greg Byrne, for the kids who aren't really coming to college for the educational experience, let's create a curriculum for them that teaches them public speaking, personal finance, all that
You
sort
should
of
be able
stuff.
to major in football.
Well, maybe we create a major that's for 1 or 2 year kids.
Yeah.
Because it's like, are they really gonna give a crap about taking, a biology class or, Native American history or whatever it is? No. So why don't we create a national program tailored for the athletes who are only going to be there a year or two, or just give them the opportunity to, adopt that baseball model where they can give the pro leagues a shot and take their chances.
Especially because so much of your first few years of college were like just prereqs. I remember
yeah.
just taking everything I had to take, and you don't take the classes you really wanted to take or learned anything from really until
junior year. That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I totally get it. And I hear when people say, well, the schools are making so much money. I guess my point is that while it's not as much money as, whatever royalties you're going to get, albeit that's like a tiny fraction of the total number of football players. And how are you going to do that? Are you going to give them a percentage?
Yeah, it's complicated, and I don't know that I have like an answer to it. I just know that when I watch football, college football, that's just, I can't help but feel like, oh, they're carting that kid off the field. He will never play again. He never made a single dollar, and look at all of this money that's just around him.
Yeah, there is so much more value in a scholarship than I think people realize, and maybe it's because I'm so tied to that discussion personally that I've never and I'm always open to hearing other people's opinions, and you may say something to me like, oh, and it'll make me think I didn't consider that angle or that point of view, and you've opened me up to something else. I'm totally cool with that. Like, I'm not one of those people who thinks like what I say is law and the rest of y'all are stupid. Like, I'm totally open to having the conversation as long as it's a healthy conversation. I'm stuck on the way I feel about it, and
Yeah.
I just don't really think it's going to change.
All right, so then who should I root for in college football? Who's my college football team, Bonnie?
Well, do you want to go for the front runner?
No, I don't like doing that. Give me somebody who's like had a tumultuous, devastating, always a letdown for the past like 60 years. Because I want to be there when they win.
My high school powder puff team.
I'm in. What was the name?
We sucked.
What position did you play?
I was a receiver.
Oh, all right.
Who didn't catch a lot of balls.
Oh, well, that's
But that's all right. I
Seems
tried. I got
counterintuitive.
an A for effort, and so
and that's what football's all about.
yes,
A's for
and
effort.
and getting paid. So Alabama's front runner. I really like. No, okay.
Oh, no, Alabama.
So Michigan's quarterback's hurt. Wilton Spate. He busted his clavicle or shoulder or something going on, and I think that could put a dagger in Michigan. And even though they didn't lose until last week, I really like Wisconsin.
Okay.
Because Wisconsin's not like the
Ex-boyfriend
team
went
that.
to Wisconsin.
Oh, does that mean I need to?
I don't know. He
pick a
was
different
nice.
guy? Did he play?
He wasn't a bad one, Like I don't like have angry feelings about him. He's cute too.
Who broke up with the?
I broke up with him. I was an
cute
idiot.
and you broke up
Well,
with him.
he went to Wisconsin and I went to Hofstra. I'm like, this isn't gonna work. Girls there are really pretty.
At Wisconsin or at Hofstra?
At Wisconsin. And so, I mean, girls at Hofstra are pretty too. It's just not my thing, Bonnie.
No?
But
Don't judge.
And so I didn't want to be a jealous, crazy person, and so I broke up with him. I'm dumb a lot of the time.
Do you still talk to him?
Not often.
That I'm willing to admit. I don't know. I feel like there's a deeper dive we have to do.
No, I ran into him at a tailgate when I was in San Diego for the Patriots game last year.
Wait. Hold on. You ran into him at a Patriots tailgate in San Diego.
And he lives in like My God, I hope he doesn't listen to this podcast. He lives in like Denver, I think. And I
What's his
obviously
name?
live in. At this point, I guess I should just say his name's Brian.
Brian.
He's very sweet. He's my high school sweetheart.
Oh,
We were both starting pitchers on the baseball and softball team.
starting.
Yeah, I was just like, I want to move on.
Okay.
So Wisconsin, I'll root for Wisconsin.
Yes, root for Wisconsin.
I
They're
am-
a two-loss team, but I think they're the best two-loss team in the country. And if they win the Big Ten championship, they should be in.
And I like their basketball team, so maybe I should just be all in on them.
Totally.
Cool. I have 80,000 other questions for you, but we don't have time.
That's okay.
Can you come back?
Well, come back whenever you want, as long as you wear your toucan shirt.
Well, then that means
But
you can't
like,
come
you
back
should
for
wash
another.
it,
I was gonna say you
but-
can't come back for another 3 months because that's when I'll wash this.
You do your laundry once every 3 months?
I mean, Bonnie, thank you so much for being here. I just don't wash it.
It's okay, but it's delicate material.
Yeah,
so
because the last time I washed it, it went down a size. And it's the holidays. I need it to fit. Okay, Bonnie, thank you so much for coming. This
Thanks
is
for
great.
having
Come
me.
back in a month when I've washed
After
my
you
sweater.
wash the 2-count shirt.
Thanks again to Bonnie. That was great. She's going to come back
Yeah.
in 3 months
Yeah.
when I wash my shirt.
Go Terps.
Junkmail?
Junkmail. Today's question is from Kyle Geller, at Kyle Geller. I don't really have any zingers.
I know. I'm like, you usually totally burn them for their names.
Is he related to Ross and Monica?
that's-
Bam, bam, bam. Got him.
First thing I thought. First thing I thought.
Yeah, I don't know. Seems like a nice guy.
Just get to the question, Matt.
All right, he wants you to rank the best Thanksgiving food.
That's vague. as
Simple.
Fuck. It's just vague.
Well,
There are so
it's a
many
dealer's
Thanksgiving
choice.
foods.
Well, the world's your oyster.
I learned from Jennifer, our hair and makeup artist, that there's a difference between stuffing and dressing.
Yeah.
And that dressing is something I would probably like because, as everybody knows, don't at me. I hate stuffing.
Don't add her.
Don't at me. It's inside the carcass of a dead animal. It's soggy old bread. And you guys think I'm the crazy one for being like, no thanks? Don't at me.
I'm with you.
Okay, so best Thanksgiving food. Number 1, mashed potatoes. I would eat
Solid.
just a huge bowl of mashed potatoes every day of my life. I love mashed potatoes.
No argument here.
Number 2, this is a Nolan family thing, so people are going to go, what? My mom makes homemade chicken noodle soup. We have that for the first course, and you put Parmesan Reggiano cheese on top of it. It's these huge pieces of chicken. It's
Nice.
so good. So that's my number 2. Like, I make her make that just for me. Other people are like, can we do pasta this year? I'm like, chicken noodle soup with a
Nice.
soda on the side. So that's my number 2. Then probably, this is where things get murky. Then we got yams. Cammie makes some really good sweet potatoes with brown sugar and cinnamon. That's why we call her Yammy Nolan.
Yep.
So there's yams.
Obviously.
Then we're going, my uncle makes a really good salad, so I like that salad.
That's good.
Ham. We get a ham and a turkey.
And chicken.
Soup.
Right.
Feels like you're judging, so
Just
I
clarifying.
need you to just pull it back. Wait, salad, dinner rolls. Love a dinner roll with some butter.
Oh, yes.
My palate is really refined.
Solid.
Vegetable, question mark. And then like the ham. Turkey is fine, but I think I like dark meat. I don't like dry turkey, and maybe that's because
Can't
we don't
stand
know
it.
how to make turkey, but I just
No
feel like
one knows
turkey's a
how.
really dry meat.
It's not
It's
good.
really, really dry, and I'm sorry, I just don't love it. So I like my chicken soup. I try turkey every year, and I always make them give me part with the skin on it, which I was just told recently that someone was like, the skin of, like, chicken skin and turkey skin, animal skin, is the grossest, worst thing you can eat. I'm like, great, it's the only part I like. So
Awesome.
apparently it's really, really bad for you.
So is everything.
So, yep, so so turkey's
That's
way
good.
down there, I guess. I'm trying to think of what other foods I'm missing.
I think you nailed it. I'm sure Kyle Geller would be really happy with that response.
I don't know, but Ross and Monica will be.
Yeah.
Say hi to them at Thanksgiving because they're in your family. Burn, Kyle.
Got
Okay, that's
'em.
it. That's it for the Garbage Time Podcast. Wait, did you have anything you want to add to my list?
No.
Cool. Bye. That's it for the Garbage Time Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes. You can rate us and leave a comment, but only if it's 5 stars and the comment is nice because it's Thanksgiving and you should be thankful, you jerk.
Yeah, jerk.
You can also listen
Kyle.
on SoundCloud. SoundCloud Art19. You can watch a video on YouTube.com/Katie Nolan, which you should because then two can't see the shirt that I'm wearing today. You can listen to
Caw.
every time. You can listen to this podcast wherever it is you listen to podcasts. Like since it's Thanksgiving, you can listen to it in your turkey baster.
What?
Which seems weird because you don't even plug it into anything. And it's just basically a piece of plastic
Wow.
with a little nipple on the end. But I swear, anything with a nipple can get you the Garbage Time Podcast.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thanks to producer Matt.
Thank you.
And as always, thanks to you guys for listening. Not sure why you still do it. And happy birthday to Ivy.
Thank you.
And happy birthday to other producer Matt. And we will
Happy
see you all in
birthday, bro.
2 weeks. Have a great Thanksgiving. Bye. I love you. And I also love your family. And I mean it.